Look what I got. I got two Smith-Coronis.
Hey, good day there. Welcome to another episode of the typewriter video series. Today we're going to be looking at two Smith-Coronas. So here's a little personal anecdote. My wife was born and raised in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and when she was a young girl back in the 1960s, there was a local restaurant called the Twin-Coroni. I keep thinking of the Twin-Coroni when I look at these two Smith-Coronis. I have some Twin-Coronis. So are these things actually pretty close, pretty alike? Well, let's look at the case handles. Smith-Corona Marchant SCM has the classic handle from the 1960s, I guess. Look at that one. Same kind of style, latch and everything. There is a difference, I believe, in thickness, as you can see. Well, look at that. Made with care, packed with pride. Well, here they are, side by side. This is a Smith-Corona Coronet Automatic 12. And this is a Smith-Corona Galaxy 12. Well, this here is the Galaxy 12 manual typewriter. Let's start with the keyboard. Well, you have the low, medium, high touch setting because it's a manual typewriter, and you have the tabs, tab set, tab clear, the ribbon color setting, and margin release, space bar, and the power space bar here. And then the standard keyboard. Well, on the Coronet, you have, instead of the touch setting, you have a ribbon reverse switch. You have a copy set wheel here that controls the hardness of the imprint. And you have, instead of a power space bar and separate space bar, there's one space bar here. You have the same tab set and clear functions up here. And then of course there's this big button that says power return, and there's this on-off switch right here. And this is the ribbon color selector here. Okay, so for the Galaxy 12 manual, let's look at the plat and the carriage area. So first of all, on the left, you have a carriage return lever, which you don't have on the Coronet. The same knobs, though, on the left and right side. You have the same feature of the spacing, but they're in a slightly different location. Your paper table looks the same. Paper support, margins are the same. The plat and release is slightly a different style, but looks very close. And the carriage release levers are identical on both machines. Here on the Coronet Automatic 12, it's going to have the same margin settings, paper table. The spacing is a little bit different. It looks like there's 1.5 and 2.5, as well as 1, 2, and 3, whereas the Galaxy 12 only had 3 settings. It has the same end of page system, or very similar to it. This particular machine is lacking the little white caps that go on these little switches, but other than that it operates very much the same, looks almost identical. And if we look here at the front profile, you can see the Coronet is definitely taller than the Galaxy. You can see the way the knobs, the platen knobs, are different. Well, let's do a little comparison on how these two machines sound when they type. Let's try the old Quick Brown Fox jumps over the lazy dog. Okay, and here's the Smith-Corona Automatic 12. Let's try typing the same thing. Oh, wait, what's going on? Oh, the power cord, of course. It's plugged in. Oh, never mind, wait. Ah, do you hear that? That's the sound of an electric motor running. Okay, let's try typing the Quick Brown Fox on the Coronet. Okay, another difference between these two machines is the sound they make when the machines are idle. Here's the sound of the manual typewriter when it's idle. And here's the sound of when the Coronet is idle. Well, I'm having a little fun with this comparison. These machines are close enough together in appearance to almost be identical if you didn't know any better, but when you start looking at closer in, you realize they are two different designs of machines. Obviously, the keyboard layouts and everything are very similar. They're obviously of the same era, the 1960s roughly. I have not dated them by their serial number, but the thing is, the differences, besides the height and weight differences, mainly come down to the fact that one's electric and one's manual, of course. With the manual typewriter, it's a machine that will sit there in standby for literally years, waiting for you to think up what next you're going to write. Whereas the electric, you turn it on and it's sitting there humming, consuming electricity, and the motor's getting warm, just waiting for you to type. And so it kind of hurries you up. Kind of, you got something to do? You turn me on, I'm sure you want to write now. It seems like it's a kind of a less patient of a machine, but as you may notice when I was doing those test typings, you can touch type really fast on this Coronet because these switches, the keys are just electric switches. All you have to do is barely make them, and it types, and it always hits the same speed and velocity of imprint, so the imprint is very consistent from letter to letter. So there is a loudness difference though. A little bit. I would say definitely the electric one is louder when you're typing, and of course the power return is dramatic in its power. Because this Coronet is an electrified manual typewriter, that means that it's ribboned. It uses the standard cloth ribbons that all manual typewriters use, which means one of the cool things about it is the cost of ownership. So you know the problem that I have, at least, with modern electric typewriters, from the IBM Selectrics up through the daisy wheel type typewriters, is the ribbons are cartridge ribbons and they're one-time use only. I just hate having to use up a cartridge ribbon and having to go find another one. I love manual typewriters with cloth ribbons because, you know, they just last for months and months and months, and when they go out gracefully and gradually. It's not like all of a sudden in the mid-sentence you run out of ink. They just get slightly fainter as you go. And that's what's great about this electric typewriter. Yes, it's heavy. It's not as heavy as a lot of electric typewriters though. It's not as big as some, but it will definitely type a very consistent mark and is very fast, and you can really touch type on it, and it's cheap to operate. So I kind of appreciate these electrified manual typewriters now that I've owned my first one here. The other thing is portability. The Galaxy 12 right here, I would say, is a portable typewriter. It has a case that's smaller and it weighs considerably less than the Coronet. You wouldn't want to lug it around like you would an ultra portable necessarily, but it's easily doable. The Coronet does have a case, as you know, and it has a handle, but it is heavier. And I would not call it a portable typewriter as much as a luggable typewriter. I wanted to show you briefly how easy it is to remove the platens on both of these kinds of machines, since the platen system is essentially identical. So you're going to flip up the paper bail, and there's a little support here by the paper table. Then there's this little cover that pulls up. Then there's a little arm, a little lever, and you literally pull it up and then pull the platen to the right, and it removes completely. And when you do that, you gain access to your pinch rollers, pressure rollers down here, and you can clean the entire platen area. And of course clean the platen externally to the machine. When you want to put it back in, the end of this has like a star kind of a thing that engages this little mechanism here. You basically put the left side down in there, watching out for your paper things. Push the right down and it locks itself into place. That's it. That's all you got to do. Now let's talk a bit about how I acquired both of these machines. The Coronet is my most recent acquisition of these two. And a friend of the family actually brought it by and gave it to me. It was very, very dirty, in bad shape, and there's still a lot of dirt on the inside of the machine. What I discovered with it is I tried to take the case off, to get into the guts of it, and I took all the screws loose that I could find, and I still couldn't get it to come apart. But I was able to clean all the critical areas, the carriage rails, carriage, the segment and all that, so it works pretty good. The belts are right here, they're actually turning, and there's quite a bit of rubber shavings down in there, but it apparently does not hurt the operation of the machine. And so I'd like it to be a little bit cleaner on the inside, but right now I'm just letting it be and I'm just using it. So one of the other things I had to do to this electric coronet after I got it is the power cord was in so bad a shape. It was spliced, chafed, had bare wire showing. I went ahead and replaced the power cord with a heavy-duty extension cord, and was able to do that just by taking the bottom plate of the motor of the typewriter off and rewiring it from there. But yeah, make sure if you get one of these to replace the cord if you need to, so it's safe. Now, this Galaxy 12 I think I acquired back in about September of 2014, and I got it from a thrift store, indoor flea marketplace for $20. And I was so excited to buy it, and it was such great shape, and I love the ergonomics of the carriage return lever and everything and the way it feels. I immediately drove over to a city park just so I could get to a park bench and type with it, and I didn't have any paper, and I dug around inside my truck and I found a paper CD, a compact disc paper sleeve, and I used that to type with, the very first thing that I typed. But this has been a great machine for me. I love it. I love the aesthetics, I love the design, I love the ergonomics, and I like the way it works. And these are great machines. They are workhorse manual typewriters for sure. So briefly before I close, I just wanted to go over again on one of the main differences between the electric Coronet and the manual Galaxy is these keys are not mechanical linkages connecting to the type bars. They're electric switches that do have some mechanical parts underneath, but the feel of it is just an on-off switch. It's, you know, and it doesn't matter how hard or how soft you hit it, you're going to get a nice, firm, solid imprint every time. And of course that great power return that we all love. So this is one of the great things about this typewriter. It is very fast operation, and just those letters I typed there, they are nice and dark and even and consistent. So this is a great machine. I have a newfound respect for these electrics. Well, in closing, I just want to say that these are both great machines, but I've really come to respect these electrified manual typewriters since I've owned this Coronet here. It is a great machine, and it really is the best of both worlds. You have the economy of a manual typewriter, a cloth ribbon, and you have the speed and efficiency of an electric. And you still have the manual carriage movement. You can move the carriage back and forth manually. You can turn the platen knob manually. So it really is the best of both worlds. And if you've never used one of these electrified manuals, I would say you can't go wrong with one of these Coronets, Smith-Corona Coronet Automatic 12s. Well, this is Joe Van Cleve from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and you have yourself a great day.